Moscow accused NATO of 4 months of exercises to prepare for conflict with Russia. Polish foreign minister revealed why Russia will not attack NATO. Being called back to fight at home, Ukrainians abroad reacted harshly. Moscow accused NATO of 4 months of exercises to prepare for conflict with Russia. A Russian foreign ministry spokesman said NATO's 4-month military exercise near Russia's border was a move to prepare for conflict with Moscow. According to Reuters, on May 4, Russian Foreign Ministry spokeswoman Maria Zakharova criticized the Steadfast Defender exercise being organized by the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, NATO. This exercise began in January and is expected to last until the end of May. With more than 90,000 troops participating, this is considered NATO's largest exercise since the end of the Cold War at the end of the 20th century. The content of the exercise is to practice cooperative combat between U.S. soldiers and the armed forces of European allies in countries sharing borders with Russia. The exercise is set in a fictional setting of conflict breaking out in Eastern Europe. Speaking on May 4, Ms. Zakharova denied NATO's accusations on May 2 that Russia was conducting espionage attacks through cyberspace, targeting member countries of this organization. A spokesman for the Russian Foreign Ministry affirmed that the statement was a misleading false information effort to distract people from the activities of this organization. Not stopping there, Ms. Zakharova said that it is NATO, by providing Ukraine with weapons, intelligence information and financial resources, that is initiating the war with Moscow. She affirmed, right now NATO's largest exercise since the Cold War called Resolute Guard is taking place near the Russian border. Based on the context they set, this alliance is rehearsing every move against Russia. They can do so with all the means at their disposal, including conventional and hybrid weapons. We must admit that NATO is seriously preparing for a potential conflict with us, Ms. Zakharova emphasized. The relationship between Russia and the West has plummeted since the war between Russia and Ukraine broke out in February 2022. NATO strongly criticized Moscow for the above war, and at the same time, tried to support Kyiv in fighting against Russia. Polish foreign minister revealed why Russia will not attack NATO. Polish Foreign Minister Radoslaw Sikorski on May 4 talked about Russia's threat to NATO member countries. Russia would not risk attacking a NATO member state, Sikorski said in an interview on Britain's BBC. Mr. Sikorski said so when answering a question about the threat that Russia could pose to a NATO member country like Poland, according to the Kyiv Independent newspaper. During the ongoing conflict, Kyiv officials have repeatedly warned that Russia will not stop even after achieving its goals in Ukraine. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said that the West's support for Ukraine is to prevent the conflict from spreading to other countries in Europe. Mr. Sikorski also emphasized that Poland will not rule out anything when it comes to the possibility of NATO sending troops to support Ukraine. The Polish foreign minister expressed the same opinion as French President Emmanuel Macron, that the West needs to create strategic ambiguity to deal with Russia in the conflict in Ukraine. We will not reveal our intentions. We will make Russia guess what we will do, Mr. Sikorski said. In March 2024, Russian President Vladimir Putin said that if Poland sent troops to Ukraine, this could lead to a long-term military occupation. They definitely want to take back historic territories in Ukraine. Therefore, if Polish military units enter there, it will be difficult for them to leave, Mr. Putin said, according to RT. Responding to the BBC, Mr. Sikorski expressed satisfaction with the U.S. passing the budget aid bill for Ukraine after many months of delay due to internal disagreements. Ukraine really needs anti-aircraft missiles to protect industry, protect power plants and infrastructure. I think it's better to spend money to protect Ukraine than have to rebuild it later, Foreign Minister Ballan added, saying he believes the West will maintain support for Ukraine as long as necessary. Mr. Sikorski said that the conflict in Ukraine can only end when Russia understands the cost of continuing the conflict, in terms of human and financial resources, which is higher than the goal Russia wants to achieve. Poland is one of the countries that provides the most significant military support to Ukraine. However, the relationship between the two countries has been damaged for many months because of Polish farmers protesting and blocking border gates with Ukraine. The situation at the Poland-Ukraine border has been temporarily stable since April 29. Being called back to fight at home, Ukrainians abroad reacted harshly. Ukraine suspended consular services for male migrants, trying to urge Ukrainian nationals to return home to fight. The Washington Post, citing interviews with Ukrainian nationals in several European countries, said that the Ukrainian government has required citizens living abroad to return, join the army and join the war. The country's foreign ministry has temporarily suspended consular services for migrants in preparation for a radical military mobilization, which will take effect this month. The new regulations require Ukrainians aged 18 to 60, potentially eligible for military service, to submit their personal data to military service centers. They will only be able to retrieve their personal documents by returning to their home country. Some Ukrainians living in Western countries have expressed negative feelings about the new policy. Some said they felt they were being treated like traitors and worried they would be prey for military service officials. Alexander, who has lived in Austria since before the Russia-Ukraine conflict broke out in 2022, said he felt like hell when he learned that Ukraine suspended consular services. He shared that he felt like a prey in the eyes of military recruitment officials. It was like, now we're going to catch you, make you feel bad, punish you. Ukrainian Foreign Minister Dmitry Kuleba explained the new orders to deal with the situation of Ukrainian men evading the military draft by living abroad. He asserted that those who ignore their duty to fight for their country do not deserve anything. I feel like the country I love and cherish is behaving like an immature, insulted teenager, Vaily, a Ukrainian living in Poland, told the Washington Post. He added, I have always positioned myself and will continue to assert myself as a Ukrainian in all situations. But if the state considers me a traitor, I have to admit that is not a pleasant feeling for me right now. Kyiv says it is not seeking to forcibly repatriate its citizens, but has requested support from the West to encourage their return. Top Ukrainian officials have repeatedly expressed their desire to somehow bring back people abroad of military age. Many EU countries, such as Germany, Austria, Hungary, and the Czech Republic, which are among the top destinations for Ukrainians fleeing the fighting, have explicitly rejected the idea of gathering and repatriating Ukrainian refugees. Return home. According to new draft regulations published by the Ministry of Defense this weekend, people with HIV, tuberculosis, and cancer, as well as some people addicted to stimulants, will still be forced to serve in the Ukrainian armed forces. However, depending on their health condition at that time, they will be assigned different jobs. Military officials will decide whether a conscript's health allows them to serve on the front lines or perform less demanding work in the home front.